Rescue Ace versus not sure. I'm Seti. This is the main use of your Ash Blossom that you want to be negating as it searches and draws as we draw into a Lightsworn Dragonling. With the Weiss, if sent to the graveyard, it's going to be able to reborn a Lightsworn. Saryuja summoning the Christia from the hand, just like that. As you can see, once per turn during the min phase, special summon a monster from the hand. So just like that, you cannot special summon, but we do have enemy controller to take control of the Christia. But what's that going to do? You still can't special summon. No summon for you. As the Poplar activates to possibly search for something like a Subversion. If they even play it, likely they don't. We're going to Econ take, and you are scooping. Wow. All that to Arc Lord Christia. Saryuja, Arc Lord Christia, lock each player out of summoning, and you win. Lots of floodgates in today's event. Cactus Bouncer, Christia. There could be only one. All the floodgates are winning these duels. Impulse triggering the fire engine to summon itself from the hand off of a Rescue Ace being summoned. Thunder Dragon Dark, so we don't have to wait until the end phase to activate it. Searching for another one from our deck. It's game 2, so it's okay for them to know that we're playing this, but was this okay? That was not okay. Not okay to trigger the triple tactics talent unless we were baiting them because we played 2 Ash. Well, return back the Libellion, end phase, and that just wouldn't have happened. Oh my Jesus. Thunder Dragon Dark, discard, grab another one from the deck. I mean, this is not a good turn. What the heck? But also summon Dragonling's not good. If this card sent to the graveyard searching for the Punishment Dragon, both players bricking. What the brick is going on? Set called by with an Ash in hand. How's it going to help us? Well, there's now 3 Rescue Ace in the graveyard, and the Turbulence only needs 2 to summon. So the finger is no good. Lil Knight will not be banishing on summon. Come forth, banishes cost, then it's too late to use your finger. I think we're screwed now. You cannot use Ash Blossom on Turbulence. We're not adding from the deck in any way whatsoever. We're setting up to 4 cards from the deck. Let's speed this up. Now, the Lightsworn deck is a deck full of gas. Not that we have any of it in the hand, but maybe we could draw into something that just starts triggering things like crazy. Possibly through the ability for the opponent to banish our monster, flip face down, pop a monster, and negate. They had about 4 disruptions plus a max C for us to play through. Not good enough. Let's hop into game number 3. Game 3, they timed out or something? Someone had to leave? I guess we don't have a conclusion to their game. What the hell? Charge Light Brigade, mill 3 as a cost, so the Rhino Heart will not be triggering, nor will the Tearlament Scream. Now making Masquerina with the Zombie Vampire as we now use the King Sark discard to send a horse from the deck to the grave, reborning 2 horses from the grave as we now make a Harbinger. That's going to be a spell card negate. Negate the grass looking greener. What other things did we accomplish here? We don't have a Lightsworn in the field for the Lightsworn Aegis, so that's going to be fine, but we have we can go into a Little Knight, into another Little Knight Banish. We have the Crime, which will negate anything. We have negate a spell. We also have turn off the graveyard. We also have at least 1 to 2 shufflers in our own graveyard. We have both of them, which I think is counted as disruption in the matchup of Tearlament. So I'm going to count it as 7 disruption. Tell me if you think that's correct. Can we play through 7? Let's go. Probably not. Dwellers, the Floodgates. We have 6 active disruptions beyond that. Rhino sent from the deck, but Sharon can't trigger. Grief summon from the deck. We didn't negate. Send Rhino, can't activate. We can mill 3, nothing. We milled for the opponents, triggering their fusion. Were we just trolling at this point? We should be. Because how are we going to break this field? We can't. It's not going to happen. Grass, Harbinger, negate. And we also gained another disruption through you milling for us as we summoned our Rukalos. Special summon negate. Sure. Card destruction. We are going to negate card destruction, not allowing them to discard our own Hovness. It was just going to be discard left arm, then draw another card. That's it. We're completely out of plays besides attacking with Tear Limit Kashtira. Further triggering our fusion to go into Kaleido Heart. On summon, spin the Meta Noise in the back row back as we now Masquerena into Little Knight on summon, banishing the Tear Limit Kashtira. And that's the power of Lightsworn Tear Limit. Sure. Did we banish from our own grave? What the heck was that? We didn't banish Tear Limit Kashtira? Huh? Why did we do? Are we trolling also? You both are just having fun with each other? Reborn from the grave, our I'm Seti. Wipe out the Tear Limit Kashtira. Open field, 14,000 damage. And just like that, Sync winning it all. All of game one. Let's see what you could do when you go second, though. Kaido Patera. We're going to Psy-Frame Gear Gamma, negate and destroy the Sea Mare from milling from the deck with precision. A Tear Limit. Be gone. Kikal is here. On summon, search or send a Tear Limit as we're going to grab the Sulliek. We're going to send ourselves to Reborn the Rhino Heart, which we have not activated. We're now going to be triggering the Sharon. Return back, performing a Rukalos summon, which is a special summon negate. As we now make a Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep wants to be pointing to where a fusion is, so we're going to summon a fusion to where it is. Wait. Was that oopsie? I think we oopsied there. Why didn't we wait for the Colossus? I think we accidentally activated that. We're now going to Destrudo, Reborn from the graveyard to make an Apollo USA triple monster negate. As we now triple tactics talent, look at the hand, returning back on the deck your I'm Seti. What is going on here? The graveyard's completely turned off. They can't add cards in the deck to the hand. A special summon will be negated. A monster negate on the Apollo mate. Sulliek monster negate on field. Meta Noise flip down and perform a fusion summon. And we have Max C. So 9 disruptions / floodgates plus Max C. And I think we have Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard. So 10 disruptions. Oh boy. Yeah, there's a snow in the grave. There's no way we're going to be beating this. We're going to chain Maxi to the Hovness, attempting a special summon here. And that is our negates. I don't think so. Well, whoever goes first wins. Let's go to game 3. Let's speed this up since we have no disruption whatsoever. Are we done yet? Oh, special summon a Punishment Dragon. Now, Punishment Dragon has a quick effect, and that is, during either player's turn, you can pay 1,000, shuffle into the deck all cards and all banished cards except Lightsworn monsters from both banishments in both graveyards. So if you were to trigger a fusion effect through your Tear Limit, you just chain the Punishment Dragon and spin it back in the deck, stop in the fusion summon. If they fill up their grave with horse cards, well, you're gonna have to do it on the first one, probably. I'm setting the grave, spin it back. So that is quite interesting. And there's just so much disruption. We don't have the Lightsworn one, but we have the flip down, fuse, negate a monster, negate a spell, Little Knights, and we're gonna be able to trigger a fusion into a Rukalos negate. We have field spell through a shuffler to then pop a card in the field. We have Dweller turning off the graveyard, 9 to 10 plus disruptions. It's just impossible. And then we just drew a Maxi off the top of our deck. What is that? Patchwork searching for a Polymerization and an Edge Imp Chain. As we now Rhino Heart, trigger the opponent's Scream, as we then chain Sulliek to negate that Rhino Heart. Are we sending our Kick Cow to then mill 5? Negate. Wait, no, we didn't negate. We just flipped up the Sulliek but did not use it to negate. Sure. We're now chaining Max C through the Sharon, activating to trigger a fusion. Masquerina, linking this all up into a 4 material Apollo USA Quadra Monster Negate. As we now make an El Shadow Window. El Shadow Window is going to disallow either player from special summoning more than once. As we now make a Guardian Chimera. Now with the Guardian Chimera, it's going to pop 1 card on the field. Now could the Apollo negate it? Not if we chain link block it. It also cannot be targeted by card effects with the Polymerization Engrave. So we do have cards in the graveyard that will trigger to chain link block it, protecting it from being negated. Chimera on chain 1. Dweller though, we got Dwelled. So we had a bunch of chain link blocks, but the freaking Dweller blocked our blocks from blocking the Chimera, thus we got negated. Unfreaking believable. Droplet. Oh my gosh, we actually have something. So we are going to Droplet to ensure that we do get the draw 2 and pop 1. The Apollo is going to be negated, but it cannot be destroyed because of the Masquerina. We do take out the Harbinger, so we can now use the newly drawn King Sark. King Sark allowing the Horus, I'm Seti, to reborn from the grave as we discard a King of the Swamp to send happy from the deck to the grave, but the Mudora will now spin it back. Now, it's worth noting, the Horse cards can reborn from the graveyard while you're under the effects of Dweller. Double Shuffler, oh my gosh. Returning back again, both of our Shufflers as our I'm Seti wipes out the Apollo USA. Now we're going to end phase. We're shuffling everything that's banished and in the graveyard back into the decks, resetting the duel. What the heck is that? Now the Lightsworn cards do stay. Off the top of the deck, we got our Horus to then discard to send a happy alongside it to reborn both, but we don't have to. We are going to, wow, with the Punishment Dragon, attempting to take out the I'm Seti, but it is sent to the graveyard on its own attack. End the turn. We're now under the effects of Winda. What do we do here? As we top deck a Dark, we could reborn our I'm Seti, which is able to take out that Winda, thus we're no longer under a Floodgates. Main phase 2, Dark, add another Dark, but from there, we're going to discard the Dark, send in Happy, reborn the Happy, exceeds into a Zombie Vampire for potentially a big play. Mill 4 cards for both players, stealing the opponent's Sharon so it does not trigger to fuse, as we then use their Sharon that we stole to return it back in the deck to make a Kick Kalos. Tears are fine, Windows cringe. Yeah, the window was something, as we send the Tier Cash to mill 2 Max Cs, as the Tier Limit Kick Cal reborns the Tier Cash to now mill an additional 8 cards. Mill 3, Mill 5, Sir Josie, this is a really good comeback. For going second within this duel and being able to play through all of this nonsense, you're doing incredible. We have the Scream searching for a trap as the Celic searches for a Tier Limit monster. We have not committed to our normal summon yet. So with that monster that we can normal summon, we're going to grab a Rhino Heart. Rhino Heart on summon, send with precision, whatever Tier Limit we want, triggering the Hovness to fuse into a Kaleido Heart. This is all main phase 2, by the way. Kaleido on summon, spinning the Happy, otherwise it would trigger to add 2 cards back to the hand. We do not want that to happen. Fairy Tail Snow within main phase 2, reborning to now make our own Dweller. Now we have the Dweller in the draw phase before they could normal summon a Tier Limit to then use our Sulliek with. Oh boy, how did we turn this around? Keldo in the draw phase is going to spin back the opponent's Horus as we then turn on the Dweller. Gamma off the top. Did we draw Gamma? No way! Gamma off the top of the deck, negating and destroying Dweller on an open field where otherwise if we waited for them to summon, that would turn on cards like the Sulliek, which would negate the Dweller otherwise. Unfreaking believable. That is the best top deck ever. Negate and destroy the Dweller. Our graveyard will not be turned off. I cannot even comprehend that just happened. We're going to Meta Noise, flip down a monster before they perform a level 8 Synchro, sending from the deck a Hovness to trigger a fusion, and trigger Kaleido to spin the King Sark back into the deck, disallowing them from discarding to send another Horse to then reborn it. Come forth, Kick Cal. Kick Cal will now trigger on summon, send for the deck of Sharon, trigger the Sharon to fuse into a special summon negate. Now what? We're going to Lightsworn Dragonling, activate the special summon to then send any tier we want from the deck to the grave. I keep saying tier. It is a Lightsworn that we would have sent from the deck to the grave. Tier cash being sent to the grave, mill 2, and the turn, goodbye to the Gamma. And we don't have any relevant plays. We don't have any shufflers. We have nothing activatable in the graveyard. We're going to wipe out the side frame Gamma driver, open field, lethal damage with Urkalos. And I am just struggling to comprehend, how did Sir Josie win this duel when that turn 1 was stacked beyond freaking belief? I'm going to have to rewatch that later on YouTube because I don't understand it. How did we win? It was the droplet, right? Droplet is what saved us from losing. Being able to negate the Winda and the Apollo, that was huge. Wow. Let's hop into another match. Fusion deployments. Reveal a fusion, summon its material from the deck. It's going to be a Cartesia. As we follow up with the grass, milling a ton of cards off of the deck here. Milling a total of 4, 8, 12, 14 cards as the Tragedy activates to grab an Alibur to then Alibur search for a Branded Lost. All right, let's first look at the graveyard. Is there anything crazy in the graveyard here that is worth noting about? We do have the Branded Red, which could grab a card from the graveyard, then fuse into something like a Guardian Chimera. That's 1 disruption. We do have the Mirror Jade, which will non-target banish. We have Borreload, which will pop a card in the field. We have the Branded Banishment, which will fuse with either field and then fuse into likely a disruption. We have the Lost, which will possibly search for a second copy of Mercurier if we play that. So we have about 6, possibly 7 disruptions here. Let's see what happens. Super Poly fusing with their field. Goodbye to the Mirror Jade and the Borreload Dragon, making our Moo Dragon. Moo Dragon could help make our cards completely untargetable. Now, because the Mirror Jade triggered within, I believe we activated the Super Poly in the main phase, that would make our Triple Tactics talent activatable, which it was. We're going to be drawing into a charge, milling 3 cards off the top of the deck, grabbing a Weiss. Weiss could return Wolf on top of the deck, then mill it to then summon Weiss. The Dragonling searching for a Punishment Dragon. As we're now declaring Light. Light monsters will be completely untargetable, as we now have a level 4 tuner and level 4 non-tuner on the field to Synchro Shokan into an untargetable Minerva. Minerva send 2 Lightsworn from the deck to the grave, triggering the Wolf and the Weiss to reborn from the grave a Feliz Navidad. Now with that, we have another level 8 Synchro, which could go into Vsauce Amartira. Knowing that, we're going to flip up the Branded Banishment, reborning our Mirror Jade, which will be activatable again to banish a card in the field, fusing with the Moo Dragon and the Alibur to make a Dragostapelia, which will be able to target a monster to stop it from synchroing. Do we preemptively Dragostapelia, turning the Felice or the Wolf into level 1? No, we don't. We wait for the Vsauce Amartira. Amartira on summon will activate the search for something like a Tearlament field spell. Scream is Chainlink blocking it from being negated by something like the Mercurier. So we're going to Dragostapelia, reduce it to level 1, which will stop them from summoning a Zombie Vampire, and it's also negated from searching. No search, no Zombie Vampire. We're going to banish 4 cards from the grave to mill 4 cards off the top to trigger a Rhino, discard Meta Noise to come forth and summon, activating Descend from the deck, which you summoned a monster through a monster effect, so the Grand Granola is going to summon a body onto the field. That body going to be a Coritis, which could reduce the entire opposing field of non-fusions to 0 attack. Hobness being sent from the deck to the grave, triggering a fuse with no Chainlink block, thus the Mercurier, Royal Mercurier at Ultra Rare, negates. Now off of that, we have Destrutto reborning from the graveyard as level 3. And we're now going to use the Mirror Jade to non-target monster, banish that Destrutto, special summoning Punishment Dragon, as we have 4 different Lightsworns banished. With the King Sark, we could reborn the Happy to still make that Zombie Vampire, which you denied us from earlier. We're going to attempt to mill 4 cards, but it's not a trigger effect, it's not a quick effect. We're going to chain Punishment Dragon. The Rinbrum's trying to reborn the Albaz to fuse with the Zombie Vampire before it mills 4 cards off of both decks. And the Punishment Dragon's going to return everything back into the deck, so that does not happen. Now, before our cards get returned back in the deck, we're going to use our Branded in Red, targeting Engrave before it's returned back to Fusion Summon. Add the Albaz, and then fuse. What are we fusing into? Now, because this Fusion Summons on Chainlink 3, we don't have the Branded Loss protection on our Guardian Chimera. but we don't have anything to really respond to it anyway. That's going to, oh my gosh, holy return. Everything got returned. Unbelievable. Draw 1, pop 2, taking out that zombie vampire here as we now make an SP Little Knight. Little Knight on summons, going to be banishing the Caritas. Caritas is going to reduce the punishment in Little Knight to 0 attack. Now, the Caritas leaving the field by card effect will trigger to summon from the deck an Alibur. Alibur searching for a follow-up play. Little Knight banishing itself, plus the Punishment Dragon to come back during the end phase. But don't we just lose now? I think we're done. Yeah, we surrender. Rightfully so. But it was very cool to see the Punishment Dragon return everything back nonetheless. Thank you. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Game number 2, begin. Oh, we got the Black Goat. Let's talk about the Goat real quick because it's a brand new card. A lot of tier limit players are now playing at least one Goat because if it's randomly milled, it can be activated during the opponent's turn to declare a monster card name, and then neither player could activate the effects of that monster on the field only with the original name. So you could declare Abyss Dweller before they would summon it, and now they can't Dweller turn off your graveyard if that's what you were fearing. It's important to note that you can't chain this to a monster already activating. It does not negate, it prevents the activate, so it does not stop an already activated card. All right, let's go. I believe the card's quite toxic, but we'll see how well it does today. Royal Minerva, oh my gosh. Sending 2 tiers from the deck to the grave. Dragonling triggering to add a punishment. Reborn Felice. Minerva banish. 3 cards to mill 3 cards. Kick Cow send herself as we special summon a tier cash. We are going, what the heck was that? Kick Cow activated. Was it just resolving its effect? I think so. We're gonna add a King Sark. We're gonna super poly right here, right now, fusing into Rukal. Triggering the tier limit Kick Cow to mill 5 cards, not triggering anything. Reborn the I'm Seti Horus. Reborn the Happy, making a zombie vampire. Milling 4 for both players without being under the effect of Dweller. That may be triggering some effects from the opponent's graveyard. Let's find out. We milled for the opponent, nothing that will be triggering, so that's fine. It's not a tier limit mirror. We got a Time Thief Redoer. As we now make a Photon Lord Monster Negate, we'll break down the field during the end phase. Also making a Little Knight. On summon, we could banish from the opponent's graveyard, get that Fallen of Albaz out of here. Now, what did we accomplish? We have the Redoer, which will trigger in the standby phase to maybe grab a trap. If we grab a trap, it will turn into another form of disruption to return a face-up card back into the deck. It also will trigger a fusion, so it's already inherently a disruption. Little Knight's a banish on a monster. We have Photon Lord Monster Negates. We're going to have Crime be activatable once we get a tier on the field to negate anything, and that will also trigger a fusion through the Havness. And in grave, do we have a Fairy Tale Snow? I don't think so. So about 5 disruption plus Mudora. And the Black Goat Laughs is actually another form of disruption, so we have 6. Black Goat Laughs can declare Mirror Jade, and that may be a problem. Redoer, grab the Albion. Let's see what we got. We thrusting into an evenly match to help break that board. Time Thief Redoer at the start of the battle phase attempting to set up its disruption as we get negated. Redoer negated, and Little Knight negated. We're now down to 4 disruption. The Crime is what would have negated the evenly match. We couldn't set up the Crime, so now we just have a Photon Lord and the Black Goat Laughs. We have the grabbing back the branded opening here, but the Mudora is going to spin that branded opening back in the deck, thus you will not be summoning from the deck in Alibur to get searching for something like a branded Lost. And now we branded Fuse. We're chaining the Black Goat Laughs now. So what are we calling? Albion? Are we calling Lubellion? Are we calling Mirror Jade? What are we declaring with the Black Goat Laughs? Albion, the branded dragon, has been declared. Thus, we'll just summon Lubellion instead. Sending 2 darks. Lubellion the Searing. Activate. The Photon Lord is still here to activate. We did not chain link block our Lubellion. Huh? Tragedy's not a mandatory effect, it's optional. So shouldn't we have Lubellion Chainlink 1, Tragedy Chainlink 2, block the Photon Lord from negating Lubellion going into a Mirror Jade? I think so. But that's okay, as the Tragedy now searches for our deck for an Alubur, which we do have our open normal summon. On the open summon, that's going to activate our Havnis to summon and mill 3. We need a good mill here. On summon, we milled a Scream, which will be searching for a trap to be used next turn. We have Branded in white to fuse with our graveyard or our field or hand to now make our Mirror Jade. I feel like maybe Mirror Jade should have been declared because the Black Goat stops it from even activating. It's not negated. It would prefer to be just negated because it could still get a fusion monster into the graveyard. And the Albion just activated even under the Black Goat last because it only stops it from activating on the field. Got a Super Poly off the top of the deck, which we have no card to discard to activate. Branded Banishment, Reborn Tragedy to then fuse with your Havnis. It gets banished, so the Havnis will not be triggering, as we now have a Coritis. Tragedy being banished by card effects, grabbing a Quem from the deck, and just like that, I believe that is the end of this duel. Branded defeating Lightsworn Tearlament. Let's go, let's go. Lethal damage.